Hello, I am Kevin Powell, also known as VoiceOver AU. I love playing games, I love streaming games, and one of the things I love doing with games is also exploring the world around those games, the themes that they actually unpick. And in the case of Fallout, and we're playing through the classic Fallout series here, Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and Fallout Tactics Brotherhood of Steel. Hopefully before the launch of Fallout 76, which I am super excited for. It's that collision of atomic age futurism, that possibility that science provides us. It's that capitalism on steroids that you get in the 1950s with domestic products. It's Chrome, it's Buckminster Fuller and all of his crazy ideas. It's all of that collided with the creeping spread of militarism through governments. It's the paranoia and Cold War mentality towards our political neighbors, and that inevitable teetering at the edge of the brink of collapse, of apocalypse, and then exploring new frontiers. It's so good. I'm so excited for Fallout 76, but I'm having an absolute blast playing through the classic series as well. And it's so good to be back. I'm just returning after a week's road trip. Kind of a week. But the travel for the road trip for a friend's wedding took out the last couple of streaming appointments. So it's really good to be back. And so now, if I can get Fallout to recognize the fact that I have a mouse, which it seems to have forgotten, we'll kick off. But I think I might need to just restart that. So speaking of, now let's see if I can get it to recognize that I've got a Fallout window here. There we go. So speaking of the world around Fallout, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about before we get into the stream proper. I listened to a podcast called Deep State Radio, which is a number of, they seem to be very informed and very politically savvy Washington insiders talking about the current state of politics. And there was a book that was mentioned today by Rosa Brooks, How Everything Became War and the Military Became Everything, Tales from the Pentagon. And that is something that I've added to my reading queue, and I'm looking at bumping it right up to the top, because that sounds fascinating. When you think about the context of the Brotherhood of Steel, that kind of, it typifies their mentality. They are the trust, they are, what's the word I'm looking for here? They are the people who hold in trust all of the advanced technology that we have, and they have a very militaristic, no-holds-barred, us or them attitude to how that stuff gets used. So I'm really looking forward to digging into that over the next 2 weeks. I'm doing something that I do every 3 months, which is just going through a research and development period. So one of the things that I'm looking at doing during that period is I'm looking at enhancing how I actually do things here, so doing things better, but I'm also spending a lot of time doing my own reading, which is a real privilege, because I've talked about this over the last couple of streams, but I had an e-learning gig that was fairly full on, that took up a lot of my time over the last month or so. It's done now, it's out the door, super happy client, which is always nice. And so I'm getting a chance to go back to my own reading, which I'm really looking forward to. So that's going to be at the top of my list. Another thing that occurred to me too is a couple of films that I'm going to be looking at over this period that I hadn't thought of before, but really do sit inside a particular aspect of Fallout's kind of way of doing things, which is Escape from New York and Escape from LA, the John Carpenter films with Kurt Russell, the amazing Kurt Russell. There's a kind of goofy humor and a sense of really heightened, out there eccentric characters in Fallout that I don't think you see as much of with the Mad Max films. Mad Max films kind of take a slice of Fallout, so it's that open world aesthetic. It's the Raiders, especially, their fashion sense comes almost directly from Mad Max. But I think there's something in Escape from New York and Escape from LA that gives another facet of the inspirations into the series, especially as you get onto like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So I'm really looking forward to digging into those, and they're wonderful films. Anyway, John Carpenter's an amazing filmmaker. He has some hit and miss stuff. You may not be a fan, for example, of Ghosts of Mars, But yeah, I mean, when he's on, he's on. Other than that, before we get started, before we dig into things, I just wanted to give a quick shout out and a thank you to Automation Dev for the follow this week. Very much appreciated. I hope to see you around at some point during streams. Now, I'm seeing good levels from desktop audio. I'm seeing good levels from my mic. We are live, so I'm thinking that we're going to get into things because the last couple of streams I've been a little bit paranoid about technical difficulties, but we haven't had an issue at all. Oh, one last thing too. Codsworth is with us now. Yay, Codsworth. He came in the mail. So yeah, thank you so much for the follow, Automation Dev. Very much appreciated. Now, a brief recap. Where are we? The last stream that we did was amazing. It was a huge change in terms of hitting our goals. We joined the Brotherhood of Steel. We repaired the power armor after going and getting the necessary stuff from inside the Brotherhood of Steel's complex. We then went back to Necropolis, and we've got the water chip. So the next step from here is going back to the vault. It's making sure that, well, we've already made sure that we've got everything we need. We've got superior firepower, we've got our power armor, we've got the water chip. So it's heading back to the vault. Now, I'm just going to double check. Excellent, we're recording over there. Yeah, everything's looking good. We're looking 5x5. So, with all of that said, let's head back to the vault. We're going home. We're going home, heroes. We have done the impossible, and that makes us mighty. The only downside here is that Necropolis is a wasteland. We did not do well in Necropolis. It's a slaughterhouse. I'm still curious as to how we could have done that better, because everyone's dead. I guess that's our omelette. Yeah, I had to crack and look up a guide as well, because I would never have found that entrance otherwise. Just never would have. Now, our question for this week too is, because it's Friday night, what's the best thing that happened to you this week? Let me know in chat. Oh, I'm running around the wrong way. Yeah, let me know in chat. And as always, at the end of the stream, and this is going to be a bumper 3-hour stream, I will share with you the best thing that happened with me this week as well. But I would love to hear how your week has been. It's good to be back. It's good to be back and doing this. It's good to be back and confused about where I'm going in Necropolis. My sense of direction didn't improve while I was away, by the way. Yeah, that's right. If I take this one, this should take me where I want to go. Yeah, I really am bummed about the fact that I failed the people of Necropolis. It's disappointing. Oh, and now we're going to kill rats. A sniper rifle? Let's not do that. What else have we got? Let's use that for now. Let's use our wee weapon. It's just a wee gun taking 10 mil. I'm excited about getting this ticking clock off our back. The very first thing I want to do, once I fix everything up in the vault, is go back and take out that Deathclaw. I want to see who is better off this time. It's sad to have lost Dogmeat though. Just couldn't do... Okay, that isn't taking me in the right direction. Couldn't keep Dogmeat alive. That hurt. See, I went past this to begin with, because this looks like, to me, it looks like the other place I went through. I know it's a different room. The size of the room is different, but this is kind of the way my brain works. One of the other reasons I'm really excited to... Oh, hello, another rat. I feel bad killing rats. One of the other reasons... It just came down there. I may be running around in circles. One of the other reasons I'm excited to see Escape from LA is... It's a little bit more gonzo, but it has the amazing Bruce Campbell. Let's see if I can just sneak through here. Bruce Campbell's a guy who's just good in everything because he just gives his all. I know people wouldn't necessarily equate him with... I get the feeling I'm going the wrong direction here, and that's not going to take me anywhere I either want to go or can go. Okay. Kevin's made a directional boo-boo. I just want to get out. I just want to get out, man. Let's go this way. There we go. There we go. Yeah, not everyone would equate Bruce Campbell and Jeremy Irons in the same sentence. But both of them are actors. Yes, this is just taking me back to where I was. Alright, well, in that case, let's go back down. And we'll go up the other ladder. They're both actors who, when they sign up for a project, I think they don't suffer under illusions about what that project is, and they give that project their all. Okay, so this is the camp where they were before, so I should be heading east to get out of here. Which I thought was where I was before. And I think there's something really to respect about that in an actor. Like, you may not like the script. You may think the project is cheesy, but if you sign up for a paycheck, then don't half commit to the film. And Jeremy Irons, I think, you know, he's an amazing actor. Like, he's given award-winning performances, and yet he's also there chewing the scenery epically in the Dungeons and Dragons film. But that dude is not, like, he is not holding back. And you listen to him in interviews, and he has no illusions about what the film is or why he's there. But he gives it his all. And I think it's a really important point to consider, because it's really easy when you get attached to projects to go, oh, this is kind of... I don't like this, I don't agree with their creative decisions. And so, yeah, I am going in circles here. Bear with me, we will get out of Necropolis, it'll just take a little bit, because I'm going around in circles. See, all my instincts are telling me to go east, but... unless it's throwing up like a new batch of enemies for me here, I don't think this is the right way. Oh, let's see what's up here. Yeah, it's super easy to fall into a trap of thinking that you're better than something. And the problem with that is, like, the minute that you decide that you're better than a project that you're in, you're not going to give it your all. And that's not going to end up reflecting on the project. It's going to end up reflecting on you. People won't think, oh, that was a bad film. They'll think, oh, that actor was really shit in that. They just kind of seem to be sleepwalking through the whole thing. Alright, Morat. I'm going to take you out too. 6 points. Come on over, Morat. Morat. Come on over, Mole Rat. In the groin. A little more rat squeaks. Yeah, one thing I'm really looking forward to having time to do over the next couple of weeks is being able to cut down or extract content, more content out of the stream videos. Because I just haven't had the time. I guess it's the same with, I guess it's, you know, pretty much the same with any project. Anything you're doing, you can always see ways that you can do things better, but it's a time investment thing in order to do it. I don't want to fire bursts at these things. I did not kill the cave rat. The cave rat is still alive. My hat is off to you, cave rat. You deserve to live. I would like to get out of here, though. There's something about the way that... Necropolis is structured that it just leads me around in circles. I'd very much like to get out of here, and I'm not sure this is the way out. Not seeing a ladder here after all. Just thought I'd check. It's a dead ghoul. Come on, mole rat. Take your place in the purge. One day every year, mole rats can do whatever they want. Nothing is illegal. Ooh, 120 experience. It's still not really... Okay, it's not a way out. Well, sure did kill a bunch of animals. Because if I head up here, we've done this before, but if I head up here, this is where the camp is. Wrong button. Where is it? Alright, where does this take me? Because I'm pretty sure I came back down from here. I'm so confused. I just want to get out. I just want to take my water chip home. Is that the main temple? No, not quite. It's the only thing that kind of bugs me with the Necropolis. Like, it'd be nice to have a way of getting... It should be possible to get off the map. Oh, there we go. That'll do. That'll do nicely. Alright, let's go over here. All I want to do is get out. You cult people are freaking me out. We're gonna poke you with a stick later on. Alright, here goes nothing. I won't bother saving at this point. I don't think that's necessary. So we're going to go back up to Vault 13. I was so intent on watching those numbers click down that I scared the crap out of myself when my cup stuck to my coaster. Oh man, my heart leapt then. That was something else. All right. Scorpions, you deserve a better class of weapon. Otherwise, I'm just going to be... No, not a laser rifle. Let's not go crazy. Just my sniper rifle. Otherwise I'm going to be plugging away at you for some time. I missed. Well, that's not fair. Shoot you in the brain again. I shoot you in the brain. There we go. Oh, pitted dates are so good, but there's always a little bit that gets stuck at the back of your teeth. Inevitably. It's like their curse. 12 points. I've been poisoned. Hmm. Well done you. There we go. Alright. Let's end combat. And let's use some of that antidote. Boop. You lost 4 current poison level, which hopefully was like all of it. Let's take your tail in case I go back to Shady Sands. I'm still at my current carrying capacity. I do have an awful lot of stuff. Well, I'm going to at least get rid of the water chip. It's a problem because I don't think I'm going to sell anything of this back at the vault because I'm not going to have any money. Alright, Vault 13, here we go. Continue onward. I'll pick up my cup carefully this time. And make sure the coaster's not on it. I made a point of cleaning it before the stream, but it's kind of awesome. I drink black coffee, and when there's black coffee that spills down the side, it looks like a headshot on the mug. Oh, well, I guess, given an option, I'm going to the command center. Alright. 8 days left. That's cutting it pretty fine. I take damage from poison. No, I don't want to. You see the water guard. Okay. Why did they... Well, I have a water chip, so seems like that might help. Now we begin the struggle to figure out who is going to take my water chip from me. This is the security office. Okay. Vault 13 citizen. Because man oh man, do I have an axe to grind with that overseer. Although I suppose I technically did volunteer. There you are. Let's have some chats. Can't get there. Right.
Have you found the chip?
Ooh. Oh, I did not save before this. Yeah, I think we should talk about letting people leave the vault. I think by this point we're feeling pretty... We've had adventures. It's a dangerous world, but people should be able to make their own decisions.
Well, you've certainly earned that right. But let's take care of survival first. Give me the chip and we'll discuss this when you give your report. Please, the chip.
Alright.
Okie dokie. One moment. The chip is initializing. There it goes. Self-test is grain. reboot is good. Ha! It's working, and it looks like we have a winner! Ah, you've saved us. You've done it. You saved the vault. You should be proud. But now we need your report. We'll get it from you in the library. Please, go there now.
Okay. Alright, let's do our level first. Speech 92, I think we can stick that there. Big guns was what we were grinding before. I think we might let's put a little bit in repair. And let's put some in big guns. 'Cause we're gonna need it. Alright. What's my karma looking like? Champion. I'm a champion of the people. That's pretty cool. Ranger. Yep, unwanted attention. That's already paying off. Swift learner. Alright. Is the level done? Computer. Let's use the computer and make a level. Didn't you want me to... okay, you want me to science it. Science. No? Alright, so I'm supposed to give my report in the library, but this is now apparently a bit of a mystery as to how this is going to work. Now, I remember last time, the issue was that I was using a generic computer when there was a specific computer to be used. The outside world is your teacher now. That's a theme that's gonna come back. So if it's put me in this room, where does it want me to give my report? I get the feeling I was meant to talk to that person who's now gone. I should be able to rest until morning at any rate. Alright, well I guess let's go back and chat to the Overseer again. See what happens there. Assuming they're still there? Yes, they are.
I just wanted to let you know that the water supply is stabilized. Actually, we're rebuilding our reserves. You did great. I am a little concerned, however.
Okay. About what?
I don't like your reports.
Ah, so I gave my report
What was
already.
in the reports, that is. In fact, they scared the heck out of me. It's those mutants. I've done some calculations and... well, I've come to an unpleasant conclusion. The mutant population is far greater than could be expected by natural growth or mutations. This leads me to believe in... I don't really understand it, but it looks like someone's generating new mutants.
And we've
at a
seen
startling
that
rate.
someone. At a startling rate. Yes, we've seen that someone. Alright, must be there
Exactly.
somewhere.
And as you've probably guessed, none of these mutations could have occurred naturally, even with the radiation from the war.
Alright.
As long as someone is creating hostile mutants at this rate, the Vault's safety is at stake. Find and destroy this lab as soon as you can.
That's quite Shakespeare.
You have no idea how sorry I am to send you back out.
Well, that's that then. Oh, let's have a little bit of a wander around and chat to people and see what we can get from here. There should be some sort of story going on here. Naked Vault has a million stories, and this is just one of them. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's anyone else on this level. The world is your teacher now. I love that. That's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. Alright, looks like it's nighttime. Yeah, alright, let's close. Let's wait until morning. Let's rest until morning. We can rest for as long as we want now. Now let's rest for another 2 hours. 8 AM seems to be when everything... Hello? 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 No, apparently 8 AM is not when this level of the vault wakes up. Looks disused. Hey there. I don't know if I like that. Yes. Now we get the whole gunslinger thing coming in. See, everyone wants a gunslinger when there's a problem. But the minute that the bandits are dealt with, no one wants a gunslinger in town. That's why the ending of Fury Road is so good. Like the idea of there being not just sort of one overarching story for Mad Max, but there being sort of just a series of stories over time. And where the line between person and legend gets so blurry. Although I suppose even with Fury Road, he's almost post-legend because no one knows of him by name, but he's just carrying around the burdens of everything he's done in the past. I don't think I'm going to find a story in here. You see the medic. Oh, let's go see the medic. Could stand to get stitched up. I need help. You seem okay. Fine. The emergency lab. There should be a medic on duty 24 hours a day. Okay. I wonder if there is one. Well, it's interesting. I expected there to be more to do, but it looks like talking to the Overseer is the only thing that's really going on here. Yeah, fair enough, you know. It is what it is. Well, we're free of... Whew. Rough. Oh, didn't do that before. But we're at maximum capacity. Alright, let's head down to the hub. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, because I want to sell off some of the stuff that we've got. Oh, don't do it, mouse. Don't do it. Alright, so the next job, the next thing we gotta deal with is that super goddamn scary facility that we stumbled on in a previous save. In an alternate reality, we found the source of the mutants. Alright, sneak. I'm really happy with how this concept is turned... of course, auto runs on. I'm really happy with how... Sorry, Righty. Really happy with how the concept is turning out here too. This idea of someone who prefers to talk first, but is able to back up their talking with some violence. A man of science. It's kind of that whole dichotomy of, alright, where can we go? Junktown? No, Junktown doesn't have the juice. Well, Junktown's closer. What say you? What say you? We head to Junktown and do some trading with the now mayor and ditch some of this stuff. I think that sounds like a plan. You nearly fall over some rough terrain. Okay. Then I fall over some rough terrain. We can do that. Junktown. Let's head off to Junktown. Again? It's my ranger ability. Rats. Rats, Louis! Interview with a vampire. Speaking of vampires, they've just launched 5th edition of Vampire. It was just launched at Gen Con, I believe. Looks interesting. I was going to say I have to out myself as a role player, but it's not really outing yourself nowadays, isn't it? It's kind of more a cool thing. Everyone's doing it, man. Roll the dice. You'll love it. Crash House. Entrance. Crash House. Casino. Entrance. Entrance is where we want to go. Let's put the gun away. Hey, man. What? What? Okay. What the hell? No. I do not want to get into a gunfight here. I could have sworn that I went to talk to him. Good evening, Automation Dev. I know, right? Voice actors playing D&D. You're just in time to watch me botch entering Junktown. I think I accidentally punched the poor guard at the door. Alright, let's see if we can rest. No! No, I don't want to be in combat. Don't flag Junktown for me. Don't flag it as hostile, please. I don't want that to happen. Hilariously, if that has happened, it has happened because... Alright, let's just go straight to the hub. Actually, I'll go here and rest. Good boy. I want to rest. Rest until morning. Yeah, if that's happened, it's happened because I must have hit the punch button instead of the talk button. Yeah. But anyway, man, I wasn't talking about D&D. I was talking about Vampire. Which reminds me of... There was this whole... Oh, if you've ever been in role-playing communities... Okay, Junktown's lost to me now. They're just going to keep shooting at me whenever I turn up. Yeah, there's this really... There's this really pretentious... Tell it to the judge. Yeah, yeah. You almost punched a guard. Alright, let's go to the hub. I get the feeling this is going to affect my champion rating somehow. Oh. Oh, but Raiders, I can't loot you. I can't loot you, so I'm just leaving. I don't want to embarrass you by just spraying you everywhere. And the experience isn't worth killing you. It's not worth spending the equipment. What was I talking about before? Yeah, there's this really pretentious cliche that I think would probably still get trotted out in role-playing circles, where people would say it's role-play, not role-play. Like R-O-L-E versus R-O-L-L. And there was this real looking down your nose at mechanics-heavy systems like D&D, and D&D wasn't true role-playing because the guy's been on patrol. Okay. A police officer of the hub. Officer, I know. I just went to Junktown, and I'm telling you, the cops there, whew. But you guys are cool. Yeah, this whole idea that D&D wasn't real role-playing because it had combat-heavy systems, and that's... There's a general rule of thumb: whenever someone tries to tell you that one thing is empirically superior to another, anytime anyone's is pushing an evangelist agenda, there is something wrong with their view. They are blinkered. I do not miss that. I do not miss that in tech. Because here's the thing with tech. You can pick up a tool. Yeah. Here's the perfect analogy for it. You may or may not have ever seen this film, but there's a film called Ronin, which kind of skated under the radar. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking out 5th edition. I loved 4th edition for its really wonky, not wonky, but really basically like grognard. That's the word I was looking for. Really grognard heavy rules. I thought it was really fun for that. But the problem was that if you had combat, and sometimes combat's fun. Sometimes you just want to roll dice and beat things. But if you had combat became it became a centerpiece of your session. And if you weren't one of those players that likes combat, and not everyone does, then, that's a long time that you're just not interested in what's going on. So I liked what it did in setting up this really tactics-rich, really choice-rich environment. But yeah, it's pretty rules-heavy. So I'm glad to hear that the 5th edition is rules light. I'm really looking forward to checking that out at some point. I'm trying to resist the urge to pick up rulebooks, because I picked up a bunch of 4th ed stuff, but I never played. I never ended up playing 4th ed that much. Oh, that's brilliant. I can't be bothered looking up the rules this will do. That's what you want. That's what you want in a rule system. You just want a way of being able to arbitrate when you're not quite sure. And just go, okay, I think it kind of works like this then. Alright, folks, let's go shopping. That combat armor, I think, is going to let us buy some neat toys. We're going to get a Geiger counter. Do we want a Geiger counter? Or I think this is the same gentleman that had the motion sensor. What was the advantage disadvantage mechanics? You might have to explain those a little more clearly. It doesn't sound familiar from Fourth Ed. Like Fourth Ed had a lot of situational buffs and debuffs, but that sounds very different to what you're talking about there, or it sounds potentially different. So yeah, tell me more. See flamethrower fuel. Well, I have a flamethrower. You see a rocket launcher. Well, at some point I'm going to need to pick up a rocket launcher. This might be it. This might be our shopping trip. What else don't I want here? Flamer! I do want my flamer. I do want my laser rifle. So I'm kind of stuck with those weapons. Stuck in the sense that I don't want to get rid of them. So maybe let's make the most out of this by picking up... What are you? Explosive rockets. I've got a laser rifle. I think we'll stick with that for the moment and see how that goes instead of a rocket launcher. What kind of ammo do you take? Microfusion cell, which I don't believe this gentleman has. He's got ammunition for, yeah, small energy cells, which I don't think are the same as microfusion cells. Oh, do I still have my laser pistol? Small energy cell. Where's my laser pistol? I thought I had a laser pistol. Did I dream it? It has been some time. I may have dreamt it. Roll d20. Roll 2d20. Pick highest, lowest. Granted to player by DM when something is considered easy or hard due to whatever situation. Things like melee attacking someone who is prone. Oh, that sounds like a really simple, straightforward way of going, okay, here's your advantage or here's your disadvantage because it's tough. And adding some variation to that. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really clean. Hunting rifle. Oh, we can get rid of that. We can get rid of the hunting rifle. This is going to be another one of those exciting shopping montages. I get the feeling I am going to spend the ammunition that I have for that laser rifle on getting rid of the Deathclaw. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll save to begin with, and we'll see how we go with dealing with it with the sniper rifle. What else do you got going on there? But yeah, that sounds really clean. That's what you want. Like there's... I don't know if it's getting older and getting more impatient. So old. But, yeah, there's this really, I think the more you roleplay over time, the further you move away from that simulationist urge to represent everything with a very specific rule, and you just want to tell stories together, and you just want something that's largely going to do the job. You know, like, I don't mean hand-wavy in a bad way, but a way of just going, okay, that's good enough to cover that. Alright, let's pick up some grenades. Yeah. Getting drunk before climbing the ladder. An excellent choice. Yeah, I hear you. That's what you want. You want rules that give you... You want rules you want rules that give you... I'll start that again in English. You want a general placeholder rule that allows you to sort of deal with those situations. There we go. We all got there in the end, and it was very exciting. That's a little too much, so I think we're going to take away 90 of these. Because I don't believe... Small energy cell. Well, I can actually test. That's true. I can test whether those cells are the right cells. I don't think they are, because it's using a different word for them, and it's pretty specific about small energy cell, microfusion cell, that kind of thing. So, but I can test whether that's the right thing. Alright. I think it's good enough for the moment. I think that's pretty much what I want. I don't think there's anything here that's better. What ammo does my sniper rifle take? Maybe some sniper rifle ammo. You're watching Fallout Shopping Channel. 223. I thought I was pretty good with that. I thought I had like a buttload. Yeah, I've got like 512 rounds of that, so... Alright. Yay! And that was the Fallout shopping channel. So how's your week going, Automation Dev? How you doing? Thanks for the follow too, I really appreciate it. The question for this week is, what is the best thing that has happened to you this week? Codsworth, I think, chimed in before with that. Now, you can tell me where I can go. That's right, in the boneyard. That's the place where there's multiple death claws, which I think where I might actually be like at a point where we might actually be at a point where that's kind of the appropriate difficulty level. But there's a good way to test that, and that's going and killing the death claw that's in here. Alright, so laser rifle. Can I... What? You see Geiger counter. Why do I suddenly have a Geiger counter? Yeah, microfusion cell. It's a different kind of ammo. So I think I'm gonna have to go to the boneyard to get that. That's a shame. Well, it tells me not to use that weapon in the meantime. I want to save those 8 shots for when... Hello? Where did you go? Sniper rifle? I don't want to drop... I do not want to drop that gun. Let's not do that. I'm at my capacity. Again. I got rid of that. How am I at my capacity again? Alright. I'm going to drop some things temporarily. Because I cannot afford to drop the best of those weapons that are on the ground. Inventory. Flamer. Sniper rifle. Laser rifle. Thank you. Don't accidentally eject the ammo on a weapon. We might have to clean up. I think I might have to ditch the flamer then. As much as it hurts. Yes. Alright, you thought shopping channel was over, but no, the excitement continues. Yeah, I'm too out of... Good lord. I will just buy all the ammunition ever, thank you. Was it FNJs? How much is that going to give me? Wow. I'll take that. Because I like my sniper rifle, and I like my laser rifle, and I think that's all I really need. Well, I suppose I could get more... I suppose I could get more 10... Wow. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, 5th ed, I might end up going and buying Eberron as a source book again. Yes. Sean Connery. That's a tough one. Because the instinct with Sean Connery, it's like, I guess it's the same as like any accent. There's certain things we hear that we think, oh, that's Sean Connery, and Sean Connery does it all the time. Like that he's slurring the S's. It happens a lot less frequently than you think when you actually listen to him. Alright, I gotta do some quick math. What's that? That's 156. Yes! A winner is me on the math. How much do we have to pay you to do that for the rest of the stream? Well, you know, we can talk. We can talk. Alright. There we go. Hopefully that's going to get my weight capacity down. Or my weight limit down. But yeah, he slows his S's a lot less when you listen to him than you think. It's like Christopher Walken. That high-pitched... Hey! It's great. He does that a lot less than you actually think as well when you listen to him talk. Which I know is disappointing, because that's the fun stuff about doing that accent. You can talk. That's what we pay you for. Yes. Got our weapons. Now let's head to... Let's see. Yeah, it's hard not to just lean on that. Michael Caine would be easier. Maybe. Saying that though, my brain's just locked up on that. You've got your weapon. Now, let's go. Yeah. That's... I was talking about this the other week, but probably one of the best pieces of advice that I got from an acting coach a while back was don't do work on the spot. Like with friends, it's a different thing, but whenever someone goes, you do voices, that's great. Can you do this? Inevitably, if you do something on the spot, the results will disappoint. Unless it is just a bunch of friends hanging out, and people are like, it's not really what I thought it'd sound like. You were supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Yeah, that's so good. I still haven't seen, to my shame, I haven't seen the film. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one where he's in like a tenement block in London, and it was made relatively recently, but that's the one. It's the one where he basically plays sort of the ex-military guy, who just ends up like he snaps. He's had enough, and that's the one that has the line, you failed to maintain your weapon. She was only 13 years old. That one. It always takes me back to, like, you can't do that though without thinking of the what is it, Rob Corddry? What's the show where him and his friend go on a road trip, because they do a whole thing about Sean Connery's voice, which is brilliant. Rutger. Hello, Rutger. Alright, diddle. Oh, that's right. In order to go to the... So, I need to go find my friendly... Yeah, I still haven't seen it. But he's amazing. That's what I loved. Oh man, his Alfred was the best, because his Alfred was an Alfred you believe had actually done things. And like, Alfred isn't just meant to be like a gentleman's gentleman when you think about the character. Like, Alfred is someone that Thomas and Martha Wayne were happy to trust Bruce's life with. So, the idea of it makes complete sense when you think about it. Thank you, Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. I mangled names there. Thank you so much. That's the one, yeah. But yeah, Alfred Alfred isn't just meant to be like a gentleman's gentleman, but this guy's done stuff. Because that's who you hire to look after your kid. Like, you hire someone who's, the most gentlemanly kind of armed forces. And oh man, the talk about burning the bandit out of the forest is so good. Yeah, right? And he's that little kind of, Alfred's always at his best when he has a tongue-in-cheek element to him. And the play between the two of them in those films is it's perfect. Right. We know about the Deathclaw. Can you take me to Deathclaw? Take me. Just shut up. Wow, that was rude. I'm not a nice person. Alright, let's save the game. Because if this goes badly, the Deathclaw is going to knock a hole in me. It's going to knock a big hole in me. Yeah, and there's something in his Alfred that reminds me of, if you haven't read it, Christopher Lee's autobiography is just amazing. Because this is the dude who has the record for the number of IMDb credits. And how he gets into acting is he kind of falls into it after World War II. And I know this is like, it's a story that's done the rounds a lot, I think, since since most people have seen the special features in the Lord of the Rings films, but Christopher Lee was a dude who got up to some stuff in World War II. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you've heard the stories. But he refers to it so euphemistically, like he talks around it in his autobiography. But there's shades of the same thing in, I can't remember the exact wording, but there's a line that Alfred says in The Dark Knight about helping basically the local government in Rangoon. And it just has that same sort of euphemistic, yeah, you were deposing someone there. You were knocking out like the local ruler. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, what kind of noise happens? Yeah, where he just very gentlemanly corrects Peter Jackson, because Peter Jackson's like, okay, we want you to do this kind of noise, and he's like, well, actually, Peter, that's not quite the noise that one makes. Gotta calibrate for a sec for Christopher Lee. What time do you think we have? The 9 left the River Eisen on Midsummer's Eve. The 9 crossed the River Eisen. The 9 crossed the River Eisen on Midsummer's Eve, disguised as Black Riders. Wish I could remember the quote about the gaze of Sauron. His gaze pierces earth, flesh, stone, metal. Yeah. But yeah, that's the one, exactly. Where he just explains the kind of noise that someone makes when they get stabbed in the lungs, because they don't have the air to make the kind of noise that Peter Jackson was going for. Alright, it's on. Vault Dweller versus Deathclaw. I'm liking my odds. 85%. I reckon we can do this. Probably still a little far away for a targeted shot. Oh, what did I get 800 experience points for? I guess for going to the Deathclaw? Fair enough. Alright, let's back up the spell. But yeah, that's the story I was thinking of, exactly. And yeah, when when Alfred talks about like helping with problems in Rangoon, it just reminds me of that. A ruby, the size of a tangerine. Oh, you did not like getting hit in the groin. You did not like that. Alright, let's see what this armor does. Ooh, critical hit. See, this is the kind of thing now. I either get hit for no damage or I get critically hit for lots. It's the only thing that kind of bums me about the balance in... Ooh, the eyes, the arms, the head, the groin. So Deathclaws was going to be their vulnerable point. I'm thinking, oh, that's right, it was the eyes, because there was a conversation about the eyes. The eyes. I see you. 67%'s kind of. Have I ever played Arcanum? I played it briefly, but to my shame, I kind of bounced off it at the time. Which feels like it's terrible, because I've heard really good things. Yourself? Like, take me through it. Talk me through what is cool about Arcanum. Good lord. 48 points. There we go. Shakes and growls. Okay. So the eyes are definitely a good spot to hit it. Yeah, this is the downside now. Like, it's the only criticism I've really got of like Fallout. I don't know how it's going to turn out in Fallout 2, but it feels like once you get the power armor, you're kind of a god. So you're either not getting hit, or you're just getting smeared across the wall like super mutants rocket launchers, and you just get sprayed into like into little fragments. Whereas before, it felt like there was like before you get the power armor, There's definitely areas that you can go will kill you, but when you're in the sweet spot for your level, it feels like there's more of a sort of attrition going on mechanically. 132 hit points, and the thing is still up. I would not have been able to. Oh yay! I just bounced ranks. Yay me! I have reached Sentinel. Strong Fallout vibes and a neat steampunk meets. Okay, so by Fallout vibes, do you mean in terms of a sort of rough world and you get to make choices around how you deal with different factions? Because the world sounds awesome, like steam trains, robotic spiders, elven mages, like a steampunk magic world. That sounds great. Like my favorite setting in D&D, taking it back to what we were talking about before. My favorite setting in D&D is Eberron. And I kind of got partway into talking about that before, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up buying Eberron again because they've released like a 5th ed sort of teaser to see how it's going to go. But yeah, I love that evocative takes and very interesting takes on fantasy that aren't sort of just sword and sorcery, and I think we've moved away from that a lot nowadays. Like if a series gets off the ground, then it has to be more than just, and Arthur swung his sword and smote the demon, and then Guy Blackhand was very upset about the whole thing and waggled his finger, but was deposed. You know, it's got to be more than that. Which is, you know, a really great world to be in. Whoa, 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 whoa. You see a dying mutant. Who are you? Yeah, who are you? You're talking. Hands you a bloody holodisc. Can't remember. It's a super mutant who's cogent and able to talk quite clearly. Can't remember. Where did you come from? Scouting for primes. Hang on. Oh, we were scouting for primes. So you were made. Came from the northwest. Oh, wow. I'd forgotten about that completely. Alright, let's get this holodisc loaded. I'm excited. I think this is going to be some intelligence. Some useful intelligence. Let's do it. Let's use you. Less in the way of factions. Lots of chances to use interesting skills, unique dialogue. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'll check it out at some point. I'm not sure if I'll stream it. Do you when was the last time you played Arcanum? Because I know it also took a little bit of criticism for being buggy to begin with. Do you know if it's like stabilized nowadays? Oh, sweet, you're running a 5th ed campaign at the moment. Oh, that's awesome. Industrial Revolution comes to a magic heavy fantasy world and causes some political tensions. Nice, nice. That sounds awesome. Yeah, it's a really interesting... Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a really interesting tension to add to a world because you've got existing power structures. If you've got magic there, then you've got magic schools and you've got well-established... There's a dependency societally on magic to do certain things that just can't be done otherwise. So once you bring in an industrial revolution, you start shaking things up and established order gets threatened. That sounds like it's a world that's really ripe for exploration. Oh, that reminds me. I'm gonna blank on the name of it, but one thing that I ran into recently, it might even be... Yeah, it is. It's Reigns. It's Reigns. Because a friend of mine, Patrick O'Duffy, is writing one of the expansions for it. Greg Stolze is putting out a role-playing game. The Kickstarter for it is on at the moment called Reigns, which is geared around the player group representing a faction, representing like a group of people with an agenda, and competing against warring factions. So mechanically it represents all of that. And the interesting thing with that is that can actually bolt onto other games. So if your group is like a power faction, you want to represent struggles between different power factions and sort of the cut and thrust of like geopolitics. You can actually use it to do that. They also went with the concept of mechanical... Okay, so mechanical stuff gets screwed up by having magic nearby it. Yeah, because that's, like, once you have... Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with that. Like, once you have mechanical solutions in place. Magical terrorism. If in a particular area, industry gets the upper hand, then, you know, all you have to do to show people that it's not a good idea to use mechanical solutions is take like a magical item on a train, and then hey presto, the train derails and everyone dies. There's shades of Edison and Tesla's war of primacy over AC versus DC current and what was and wasn't safe, and the public displays they had around that. Yeah, no mages. Drink from these fountains. Oh, so even mages, like that will happen even with mages, not just magical items. So if you are a magic user in your world, like you affect mechanical items. Man, trains with no major signs. That's starting to go into some... starting to go somewhere political. Alright, let's go to downtown. Let's pick up our reward. Oh, I haven't checked out my Pip-Boy too. What was on the... Mutant transmissions. Collected 4 males, 2 females, and their supplies from the caravan. They're not too badly contaminated. Tell the lieutenant that we're sending them ahead. They might be able to survive the process. Dolph Lundgren, a super mutant. We're going to wait here for a few more days. Message received. Roger that. Were any casualties accrued during the acquisition? If possible, try to capture it. Well, knowing what we know so far, because on a previous stream, I actually accidentally, in Necropolis, ended up going to the super mutant base. The idea of them capturing Deathclaws and doing something with them again, because the Deathclaw is, I can't remember where we find this out from a lore perspective, but it's a genetically developed creature. To the idea of being enhanced. No, thank you. Had someone in our tech-heavy party who was a mage sympathizer controlled by Athenium. Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's great when you can start with, you know, see, this is why I love streaming. This is why I love, because I always, when I'm playing games, everything I'm doing is kind of structured thematically around sort of like a concept and exploring that concept. So the stuff I'm reading at the moment, the stuff that I'm watching, I try to sort of like attach to or like make part of exploring that world. And it's a similar thing to what you've got with your campaign, where you get a core concept that allows for exploration and has these facets, these things that can be done with it, and that's when things get really interesting. So yeah, that sounds like a really cool world. Thank you very much for the follow, Bachelor Pad Adventures, very much appreciated. Alright, let's talk to Butch.
Well, what do you have?
I found out who's taking out the caravans. It's these big mutant guys. Oh, okay. I don't think I did find out.
What would mutants want with our caravans?
Oh, I suppose I did actually, yeah. Oh, that's right, because that was the tape. That's the whole reason why I went out there. I thought it was the Deathclaws, but no, there you go. What would mutants want with our caravans? I don't know, but they seem to be taking the humans prisoner.
What, do I look a crate shy of a load? Did you even see the Death Claw?
Been there, saw that, killed it. Yeah.
You killed it? Well, where did these mutants come from?
There's a few different performances here that have been really good at using. They're really good at the moments between words. And there was a conversation we were having a few weeks ago about this, but that's what makes or breaks a line. Like if you can show the stitching between one thought and the next, and the performance for this guy is another one that's really good with that.
An outpost? Well, I'll have to talk to the committee.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll know what to do.
Yeah.
Done and done.
Yeah.
Get out, cause I got stuff to do, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely automation dev. Like working out that core concept that you're going to hang stuff off, it's absolutely worth spending some time on figuring out what that is, a core question. I'm actually reading through at the moment. I'm on my 2-week R&D stretch for the quarter, which I'm super excited about. So long coming. But I'm reading through Anatomy of Story, and one of the things that it actually asks you to do in that is to basically sit down and sort of like dig through the core concepts of the stories that excite you before you commit to sort of whatever the thing is going to be, whatever your long form story is. So yeah, sitting down basically and working out whatever that core concept is absolutely worthwhile. Something else that came to mind before. Rare. It'll come back. But yeah, it sounds like a really cool concept to hang a campaign around, and it sounds like you're getting some real mileage out of it as well. But yeah, exploring, just going with that joy of like the world, like the joy that a good game brings you in Fallout, and the Fallout series are a great game, and then digging into the world around them. I love that so much. Reading through Robert Oppenheimer's biography at the moment, and we're now well past World War II, and it's fascinating. Like, dude had some issues, but he was an amazing man at the same time, incredibly charismatic. All right, I don't think we've got anything we can do in the hub. I think we're going to head on from here. I think we're going to head south. I think it's time to visit some of those rougher areas. Like, our job now is pretty clearly, it's get rid of the mutants. Ah, that's what I was going to do. Before we go, let's rattle a few cages here. Let's go have a chat with the major source of organized crime. The Maltese Falcon. Any thoughts to share on The Expanse? I'm loving it. I don't want to spoil things too much for anyone else who might be listening on the stream. But I love both what they've done in the books with factional politics and the collision of realpolitik and sort of space adventure. And it's interesting because it's described pretty consistently as space opera, and it feels like sci-fi, but when I guess once someone described it as space opera, I had to sit down for a moment and think. I'm like, oh yeah, actually, science is never really the solution to problems. It's always adventure. I'm reading through Abaddon's Gate at the moment, and oh my god, the start of that book is amazing. It feels like it's lost a little bit of momentum in introducing some new characters, but that's probably necessary for the next step. It feels like sort of the first 2 books are a discrete parcel of the story. And with the ending of the first 2, they really are, because then there's a significant world-changing event that happens. and they wrap up some things and then move on to stage 2. So yeah, it's lost a little bit of momentum, but I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. And I really love, I love the world. Like, I'm a huge fan of Netrunner as well, and I think they both do something that good science fiction does, where like God loves Star Trek because like I love the series for its utopian view on things, but if you look at something like Next Generation, one of the problems, and we'll have a look around in here in a sec, but one of the problems I always had with Next Generation is its answers always felt a little too easy. Science fiction's always a way that we look at our current world, and the way that Next Gen did that was often looking down the nose of other cultures. So we would see our problems reflected in another culture, and they would talk occasionally about how Earth, like as a culture, got to where it was, but it was always in the past. You never saw the price that was paid to get to that point until like they explore it a little bit in some of the later Next Gen episodes and some of Deep Space Nine. But The Expanse, Babylon 5, shows like that, Netrunner, with its setting, when we get to the stars, nothing really changes in terms of balance of power. It's always basically it's the haves that are in control of that expansion. And the idea of having a displaced class, the Belters in the case of Expanse, is just, I think it's like, I don't want to say it's a great concept in the sense of the fact that like I revel in the fact that there is a group of people who are miserable, but it feels realistic. Yeah, well, I think, okay, I'm glad to hear I'm not the only person like who had that experience. I think the show, yeah, well, I guess we've got to see how we go, because I never felt like, I didn't feel like in the first 2 books it lost momentum getting Bobby, Christian, the crew of the Rossi, Fred Johnson, all of those people in. It still felt pretty breakneck. And the show hasn't gotten to a point where it's had to do what's happening next yet. Yeah, exactly. We're the same damn people. That's what I loved about Babylon 5, that there were people who was, you still deal with the same kind of like world-ending, galaxy-threatening threats. But the people who are doing it, they clock off. These are people who are just trying to get through their day. And I think it makes it better. I think it makes their struggle, their choices more noble when it's your job. When, you just want to... It's not like basically... Like, I think there's an important place for stories like Star Trek Next Generation and for characters like Captain America, where these are people who have stepped forward and said, me, I will pay the price for this. Like, this is what I am. They're great stories, but when it comes to science fiction, I think there's something a little... Oh yeah, Bobby's so good on the books. Yeah, when it comes to science fiction, I think there's something that is a little nobler and a little richer in terms of providing like fertile soil to explore. Going back to what we were talking about around cool concepts that give you things to explore. Yeah, when we're the same damn humans, I think it's both more realistic and provides a much more interesting world. All right, let's see what we can do in here in the Maltese Falcon. You see a very upset gambler. Let's talk to the roulette dealer. Place your bet. No thanks. I don't want to gamble. I thought I could maybe find out why she was upset. Oh yeah, Bobby. I'm so the actress who plays Bobby does such a great job with the character, and I'm looking forward to going back. I'm looking forward to going back and rewatching the episodes with the churn. I think it was actually you who recommended the podcast. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do I want? I will take water. Okay. Yay. Possibly been poisoned. You see Kane. Okay, what's the job and what's it pay? Yeah. Who do I have to kill? Alright, I'm curious. Let's find out.
So, you're looking for a job. How fortunate. I have one that needs doing. Ah, but where are my manners? What's your name? Everything is my business in the hub. Either tell me or you may leave.
Alright.
Well, the pleasantries are now concluded. Do you wish to hear about the job? Background. There's a certain merchant who's, how to phrase this, not cooperating fully with the underground. Quite simple. Hunt down the merchant and his wife, and exterminate them.
Alright, how much are you paying? I'm not gonna do it, but I'm curious.
It's standard pay. 500 caps to start. Another 2,500 when the job is done. Will you do it?
No thanks. Yeah, that's something I'm definitely gonna have to like look back over because Ashford's only come in at Abaddon's Gate in book 3, and yeah, I think I've mentally like got sort of a little addled in terms of the characters on Tycho. You'll have to remember. I know I've just read through it recently and I've bumped into it, but you'll have to remember. You'll have to remind me who Anna is in the show. Will I do it? No thanks. Ooh.
I must confess feeling a bit...
Alright, let's save the game. Ba-ba-ba-dum. I want to see if I can do the usual... take the job and then warn the person. Melchi's Falcon. David Strathairn's so good. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I got a lot of time for him as an actor. Oh, there's no second chances. Well, I think that's about everything I can do in the hub. Guns! Maybe sell some more stuff. What kind of business? I'll take an iguana on a stick. Iguana. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I got confused then, because you're saying... Okay, so she's in season 3 then. Because I'm getting confused, because you were saying that her actress's performance is stellar in the show. Oh, okay, there we go. She appears in season 3. Elizabeth Mitchell. Not familiar with who that is. I'll have to track that down. I'll take one of the real ones. I'm guessing then. I'm guessing that for season 3 they're bringing her in ahead of what happens. I have something to sell. What have you got weapons-wise?
BBs.
Lots of caps. Yeah, I do remember you mentioning. I do remember you mentioning elsewhere that you'd seen season 3. Wow, that's impressive. Because season 2, like pace-wise, it just like it felt pretty quick. Like it felt like it never. There was never a moment where you feel like it's lagging. Although that being said, it's been a while since I've seen it, so maybe my impression will change. But man, if Season 3 picks up the pace even more. One thing I really liked with the... yeah, there's nothing there I really want. One thing I really liked with the adaptation is bringing in the political aspect. No, I'm done. I'm gonna click thanks. Yeah, bringing in the political aspect of the show to be concurrent with what's happening with from an action perspective, I thought was a really smart choice. Because as much as it's good in the books to have Christian appear only reacting to certain events that occur in the series, it's much better, I think, to have her there from the start as a character that feels like she has as much footing as Miller and as Holden. Oh, that was the other thing from reading through the books so far. The only other thing that's really kind of bugged me at the moment is, and I know it might feel a little bit like nitpicking, but it feels like the reverence for Holden in the books verges a little bit on him becoming sort of the closest thing the series has to a hero character. And he's not a Mary Sue character. He doesn't have ridiculous abilities or anything, but it just feels a little bit like he's given center stage. And the interesting thing is, you don't get that impression as much in the series, or at least I didn't first time around. All right, let's see what we can do in here. Last time I came here, I was kind of quaking in my boots, thinking, I'm not ready for this, but I am ready for this jelly. Sweet gang. The blades. The blades, man. Let's see if we can find something to do down here. Do. Hello. Who are you all in there? You've blown the bloody doors off. Yeah, exactly. Very much agreed. Yeah, I think there's a really good description that pops up once or twice in the books, and I think it's Christian's view of him. You see a man. Let's see. Owner of the weapon shop. Why is she running away? There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Christian who thinks of him as a holy fool, and I think that's probably the best description of him. I take it you don't want to sell weapons to me. Fair enough. Because, yeah, I think one thing Holden does that is valuable is he's someone who, yeah, he is kind of at times quite naive. And the interplay between him and Miller is really interesting in terms of... It reminds me of... Oh, what was I listening to? I think it came from... It's one of the YouTube videos I've been looking at recently around narrative structure. Oh, that's right. It was, I'm still going to blank on it. Lessons from the Screenplay. And they were talking about the concept of having the hero learn from the villain and the villain learn from the hero. And there's an interesting thing with Miller and Holden, how they kind of reach a midpoint, or both of them takes a little bit off the other character. And that makes for an interesting story. Yeah, the parallel they gave for that, or the illustration they gave for that, was the story of Black Panther, and I think that's a really interesting one, where you've got the interaction between a hero and a villain. Oh, yeah, between a hero and a villain, both of them learning a little bit from the other. Hello, lad. What might you be looking for today? I'd like to join the Blades. What can you tell me about the Blades? A good group of people is what the Blades are. Stuck here between the... I think he does have a... I think he actually is meant to have a light Scottish accent. Stuck here between the damn regulators and the death claws ain't meant the happiest of life for them, but they survive. Alright, can I ask you something else? Who are you? Ah, there we go. I'm McCrae. I help the Blades. Some against the death claws and that regulator bunch. teach them a bit about protecting themselves against those nasties. Alright, what sort of stuff do you teach them? It's fighting with my fists and taking a punch or two more than the guy throwing them at me. Alright, do you think you can teach me? He seemed to be an alright lad. But my time's busy with keeping the blades schooled. If things were to straighten themselves out, they might be having the time then. Oh, I think they've showed restraint there with what they've done with typing the accent into his dialogue. All right, I think we've got a job. So let's go find who's in charge of the blades. We're going to show those nasty regulator people. What for? What for? Oh man, I'm not a huge fan of Family Guy. Not because, like, nothing to do with the quality of performance. The performances in that are amazing. But the writing isn't quite my cup of tea. But there's one gag. There's one gag that's just... It will not leave my brain. And there's a YouTube video you can find on it. You might be familiar with this already, but it's the Cool Whip. The Cool Whip gag, where Stewie just keeps saying, Cool Whip. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, that sums up Holden so well. Oh man, and Shosra, I'm gonna mangle her name. I can type it. I can't so much spell it that easily. But Shura, Agdashlu, who plays Christian, is just amazing. Yeah, I remember there being another quote in the book. It's not as pithy as that. Like, it's not as doesn't summarize things as cleanly. But at one point, like, there's some information that she realizes Holden gets, and she's like, "Well, it's pretty much probably gonna broadcast it and screw everything." All right, so this is the clubhouse for the Blades. I'm thinking that they must have members somewhere else, because there's no one here who really wants to talk. There we go, Michael. We have a name finally. Can you tell me a little bit about the boneyard? Over to the northeast you'll find the gun runners, but you have to get through the Deathclaws to get to them. To the west follows the apocalypse, and to the far south I've heard there is some kind of church. Alright, tell me about the boneyard. Ah, that's what we just did. Why do you all live here? Okay, where's Razor? He's been showing us how to protect ourselves better. Great, where's Razor? I'd like to talk to Razor. Who are you? My name is Christine and I live here. Who's in charge around here? Alright. Church to the south. I think we're going to check out this freaky church at some point in time. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I think there's a... Yeah, I like the tone of the humor. It feels like the humor comes from this situation, and that's so hard to write. Because Amos and some of his reactions, I think sometimes are hilarious. I love Amos as a character. It's probably my favorite, not because he's violent or super capable or anything. Amos and Christian, for different reasons, are my favorite characters, but he's a much more interesting or involved take on a character like Jane, I think. He's someone who has... the books never really address it, and he's not on the spectrum because he has emotions, but because of his life experience, he's able to tamp them down, and he reacts in a way that's so alien in some situations to everyone else. Yeah, exactly. A better written Jane from Firefly. And I think you get probably the most interesting or the most apt evaluation of Amos when Christian sees him. Because the way that she sort of evaluates him is she's like, okay, trained killer. this dude is like off the map in terms of his reaction to or his way of processing information, like how he's dealing with things. Is there something else I should know? CDED ducks. I have no idea what's happening now. OSMR CDED DB wings. Okay. Congratulations, Automation Dev, on reaching the rank of Squire. Stick around and you will rocket through the ranks. It's kind of awkward recently. We had, oh, it pops up again. But one of our regulars is serving over in Cuba. And it's kind of, it gets a little awkward when you start. And I know, like, if you're here, you're a Fallout fan, but it gets a little awkward assigning, like, fantasy ranks to someone who's actually out there, like, serving as a sergeant in the military. That was a little bit awkward. Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to that being explored. And yeah, that sounds like it sounds like a pretty on the ball synopsis for him. Like just being completely, let's see, will you let me rest here? No, I can't rest at this location. What if I go back to the other one? I don't like going around at night because I can't see things. Yeah, because a lot of the time, like when basically like scary things happen, his reaction just seems to be, it's more surprise, or it's like, that's a strange thing to have happen. Yeah, it's an interesting character, and the moments where earlier on in the series you get a sense for, I think one of the really interesting ways from a writing perspective you can show just a little bit about what a character is about is when you see what they react to, and you get a sense pretty quickly of some of the things that have happened to Amos in season 2 even. When he reacts pretty strongly to children being put in threat, you're like, oh, okay, I think I get some of what's happened to you, dude. And it's heartbreaking. But he's such a... Oh, my lord. Okay, there's the death clause. Alright, I think now what we're going to do is we're going to turn that auto run off. Running. Unlike Kate Bush, we will not be running up that road and running up that hill. We want to sneak. Because there's death claws everywhere. Yeah, very true. Very true. And I guess to do the comparison to Firefly... No? Do the comparison... There we go, sneaking again. Comparison to Firefly again, that was... Like, they do an interesting thing structurally in the very first episode of Firefly. Like, you get a sense for just how dangerous Reavers are because of Jane's reaction to them. Like, you see Jane and you realize, oh, Jane is the biggest, baddest person on the crew, and then suddenly Jane is terrified of Reavers. Can I get in there? Can I sneak in there? You gonna let me in? No. Oh, I'm just gonna go to, on the map over here. Hello, I would like to leave now, please. Yay! But yeah, it's very true. Yeah, points of comparison between characters is always an interesting way of showing you what they're about. And what characters do and don't fear. Like, I shouldn't overlook her, but yeah, Naomi is an amazing character too. Like, she's awesome. Much more capable. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And like, I mean, for the time it was awesome, but yeah, you look back on it now and you're like, oh, well, this is now a more refined This is now a more refined take on the same thing. It's hard to go back. Yeah, The Expanse to me feels like a much more sophisticated flavor. Like it's a richer balance of things in there. And so yeah, it's absolutely true. You look back and you're like, "Aww." Like Firefly was an amazing series at the time, but yeah, it feels like with The Expanse, like our sensibilities have evolved. And that should always be happening. What's going on over here? I'm at a point in the game now where I've got no memory of, like I previously played this through when it first came out. And I'm doing worse than I did first time around because Necropolis is... Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I feel like when I say Christian and Amos are like my favorite characters, like I feel like I'm overlooking her because she's like Naomi out of all of the people there, I think is the one that, you know, you'd want to sort of sit down and have a beer with or have as a friend because she's stable, she's competent, she knows what she wants, and she's willing to walk away from bad deals. So she's in, I guess it's just that she's not, there aren't aspects of her that are extreme, that are heightened, like Amos and like Christian. Like those are both characters that are a little bit dysfunctional. Like you wouldn't want them as well, Amos you'd want at your back, but you know, problematic person to have as a close friend. All right, I want to speak to your boss. I want to buy some weapons. I guess you're the gun runners. Yeah, there's an interesting thing that happens in the... I'm going to keep that auto run off for the moment as well, given I'm surrounded by a radioactive moat. There's an interesting moment that happens in the books too. In I think it's book 2 where... I think it's... No, I don't think it's Christian. It's someone else. Someone else like meets Naomi for the first time and says, "Oh, you're Naomi Nagata." No, it is. It's Christian. And that kind of alludes to the fact that there's something more going on with her character and her reputation. Can you give me a discount? Okay, show me what you have. Yeah. Because she's not heightened, yeah, she makes for less interesting viewing, but still very much like out of all of them, like the person you would want as a friend. Do you have cells for cattle prod? Microfusion cells. Yay! I would like some of them. How many does that get me? It's a good deal. Only 666 caps. It's not ominous at all. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The things that make a character interesting make them less functional as a human being. Because in Christian's case, there's this really interesting tension between her work and how important that is to her, and her love for her husband, Arjun. I'm probably going to mangle that, but Arjun. And you can see that. And like her husband is such a beautiful character because he knows exactly who he's married to and accepts the sacrifices that means. And it's a beautiful relationship they have. But yeah, she's very much devoted to the job. Gabriel is a great boss. Okay, can we talk to Gabriel? Is this Gabriel? You see a typical gunrunner. Where's an atypical gunrunner? Well, I feel very little urge to fuck with these people because they're selling guns. They're selling good products. They're selling quality products at great prices. What do you think you're doing? I'm talking to you. No? Okay. My weapons are holstered. I learned that lesson. What about you? Are you Gabriel? Yeah. Huh. What would you do? What would you give me if I went in there and took care of them for you? Oh, well, this sounds like a deal. If you clean out that area, we'll be leaving, but we'll leave behind more weapons and ammunition than you can possibly use. Okay. People who would fix all of your problems with a diadem. That seems like a really strange response. Alright, you got yourself a deal, I think. No, please do. Please verge on the philosophical. That's what we're here for. I will always lapse into pretension, given a chance. So yeah, go nuts. Alright. Let's take out those death claws. Yeah, I mean the philosophy behind sort of a worldview in pop culture or in games it's one of the things I love digging into. So yeah, please do. Alright, we're going to go back over there and we are going to use that laser rifle. Before I get started on that though, I might just go grab some water. That'll be like 2 seconds. I'm just going to grab some water, and I think, given that we're heading into the last hour for the stream, I might grab me some bourbon too. It's time for a drink. Good lord. Well, that's one way to start everything. Could I have a stim pack, please? I know I've got them in my inventory. There we are. Gotta say, it did take a while to get used to the interface. Alright, I'll be back in a sec, or I'm just gonna get sucked into killing all of these death claws. So in the meantime, Automation Dev, please verge on the philosophical. Philosophical.
All right, we're back.
Hey son, great to see you again. How's your week been? Beautiful beautiful entities and chairs. Well, I have 2 legs. And 2 arms. Hang on, what a chair's got? 4 legs. Yeah, 4 legs, 2 arms. Strange creatures. Yeah, great to see you. Just to catch you... Okay. Well, I'm sorry it hasn't been better. How long have you got now until your, until you have your visitor? Clock's ticking down now. It's, what is it, a couple of months, if I remember correctly? Just to catch you up on what's happened, a lot has happened. The water chip, got it last session. Got the power armor. So now we're kind of running around the place, looking for things to do that aren't just dealing with the mutant threat completely. Because that's our new big thing. It's dealing with the mutant threat. Push the date forward. Oh, that's fantastic! That's awesome. So how long have you got now? We're clearing out a... Oh, why so? Oh, good lord. This seemed like a good idea in the brochure. Now I'm not so sure. Ooh, okay. So the laser rifle, I think, is classed as a big weapon, which is why it's not giving me great percentages. Tenth of next month. That's not far away at all. Yeah, that's a fair cop. That's a fair cop. It's funny, isn't it? Those... When you're in the first flushes of a relationship, those moments that are so big and so scary and so exciting, it's hard to enjoy them in the moment, and yet when you look back on them, it's a big part of what makes a relationship special. You just, because of the nature of them, you can't really enjoy them in the moment. It's kind of a cocktail of a whole bunch of different emotions. I think this is going to end poorly. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I kind of hit the nail on the... Yeah. I think you might be right. Should have kept with my sniper rifle. Oh, how's that, automation dev? Like, if I can ask, if it's not an intrusive question. Oh, okay. Do I remember correctly that you had a date this week, automation dev? Or was that last week? Good lord. There it is. All right. Death counters going up. Where did I leave that button? Oh no, we missed Ron Perlman. Ah, I should have counted that later. We will never know. Alright, how far back does that take us? Oh dear. All the way back at the Maltese Falcon. Really? That can't be right. Oh, okay. Congratulations. 6 to 8. That's getting a ways in. Hang on. Wrong menu. Load game. Deathclaw, Multisfarkin. Oh no. I gotten cocky and I haven't saved since then. Oh, we're gonna have to go back to the... Oh, but this is post having killed the Deathclaw. And I'm pretty sure I did my big shopping run in here, so we don't need to recap that. No one needs to watch me shop for like forever and a half. Yeah, because I've got the holo disc. Oh, because I got that. Yeah, no, I got that here. It's very exciting watching him go. How did it? Thank you very much for the follow, Eswilly. Very much appreciated. Now let's take this back. Bear with me while the screen glitches for a moment there. Da-da-da. Just got to bring up the right screen again. Yeah, look, I hear you. I hear you. Everyone's experiences in life are very different. But I think that I don't want to sound like I'm giving advice, because I think that's the last thing anyone needs in situations like this. But that feeling of being like a teenager, having those butterflies, you know, that's a good feeling. All of that nervousness, of anticipation and vulnerability of does this person care for me as much as I care for them? Am I going to like them? Like, am I right in thinking that they're the right person? Like, they're all amazing feelings, and they're all kind of signposts that something is happening. And moments in life that, like, there's often a strong correlation between the moments in life that have emotional turmoil and also have... What's the word I'm searching for here? They're the moments where we're living the fullest. It doesn't make them hurt any less when things go wrong. Yeah, I hear you. Thank you for the follow, Temple K9. Yeah, I think, son, it is... Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure that there's a point where that sort of early relationship stuff isn't terrifying, but the fact that you feel so vulnerable doesn't make it any more comfortable, but I think it's a good sign. Like, you've got to be, in order to get the most out of life, you've got to open your heart. That sounds, okay, now I am giving advice. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you're both going through the same experience at the same time. But yeah, I'm not sure it ever gets less terrifying. Like, I've been with my... Have I run out of ammunition? Oh, no, I run out of action points. The insecure teen high five. Yes, let's all do it. Yeah, I've been with my current partner for 10 years. Which, like, blows my mind to think about that. Because I went through I know I did. I'm sorry about that. Open your heart. You've got to be I know, that was terrible. But, yeah, the reason I was kind of opening that up is there was a point in my life where I thought that would never be possible again, because I got out of a long-term relationship, then had a very, very tumultuous one. And I thought that, well, that's it. done and dusted. But oh, thank you, son. That's very kind. But yeah, that I never thought it would happen. I never thought that I would get to the point where I am at now. But life works in crazy ways. Thank you for the follow, Royal Shack Shaker. It's weird. It's like blood in the water. That death has just summoned people. I don't know why. Don't know if I missed. I don't think I missed a raid. I hope I didn't. I've got Streamlabs open and not my chatbot. The chatbot does better with notifications. It feels weird talking about relationship stuff while I'm shooting people in the groin and blowing them into composite parts too. Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because they're, like, being in a long-term relationship and being in the first flush of a new relationship, like, they both have their pluses and their minuses. They're both good for different reasons. So what I will say is that I hope it turns out, I hope that both of your situations turn out for the best, whatever that means. I hope good things are coming your way. Yes, please do. Please do. I would love to hear it. I would love to hear how you met. Oh, no, and thank you, son. Like, thanks for turning up, and thanks for being willing to share things that are going on in your life like that. It means a lot. I hope we're not going to watch me die again. Stories from the heart. And blowing out people's hearts. Man, I'm leaving some, like, gross corpses there. Listen to your heart when it's talking to you. Awesome. Yeah, you said you were gonna verge on the philosophical before too. Automation dev. I'm not sure what happened with that. Ah, the bourbons are good. The bourbons are good. Well, luckily we didn't lose too much in the boneyard. We didn't really do much there. What do we got? Shoot you in the head. Reminds me of a quote from Closer. What? Wait. Who's around? Ah, it automatically closed combat for me. And then I accidentally reopened it. The heart looks like a fist wrapped in blood. Do-do-do-do. Sorry. Maybe. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Close is a really interesting film where it deals with emotions. Relationships. It's a little more cynical than our conversations at the moment, though. How does someone manage to accidentally set you up with their flatmate? How does that happen? I'm intrigued. I will kill no rats. No rats will die today. Oh, I've got to cross the rats to get out. Alright. I will still kill no rats. None shall die at my hand today. The rats feel like the most innocent creatures in Fallout. I will happily kill a mole rat, even roll mat. Spoonerism. Do you want to be big spoonerism or little spoonerism? I'll happily kill a mole rat. I will shiv a bitch, but rats, they just feel like they're going about their business. It's the one creature I feel bad killing. No, it didn't. It didn't. I wonder if there's a length limit on posts. Maybe, do you still have it in your client? Automation Dev? If you still have the posts in your client, maybe maybe try putting them into smaller chunks, because yeah, it might be something with my channel settings, but yeah, both of those didn't appear. So I'd love to. Oh, okay, there's a character limit. That's weird then. You'd think that whatever it is that's handling the posting would manage that. Yeah, silent length limit. That's poor design. All right, this time we're going to go down to a datum first. Oh, let's yeah, we'll just put that away. I don't have a gun. Yeah, so understood that it has a character limit, but if it has a character limit, you would think it would give you an error in the client rather than just silently failing. It's bad UX design. Let's rest until morning. It's so good just being able to rest and not care about how many hours I'm burning now. It's nice to have that. It's nice to have that ticking clock gone. All right. Let's go see what's the happy haps. The happy haps at a datum. Oh, so your date with Elle was I'm guessing via the swiping description. That was like a Tinder thing. So you met her online, and it turned out to be the flatmate of your existing friend. Hey, where are you going? Gotta get back to work. From where? Let's go down. I've been here before, so I gotta remember what's here. Maybe, maybe. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no. That's my reading ability. The messages are there. They're on the screen. It's my ability to read text, information. Oh, yeah. Sign up for Tinder, pictures, write a profile. Nice. There we go. Okay. Now I'm with you. Yeah, I wasn't reading enough. My bad. I hear you, son. That's awesome. it's hard to top that. Interesting. Okay, so now automation dev, if you're happy talking about it, the big hanging question there is, how does your conversation, how does your friendship with S, like how does that switch from there's some Cyrano de Bergerac stuff going on here. How does it switch from her being sort of like wingman and pushing you to hop on Tinder, to then turning around to that being the person that you date? Or have I misunderstood the situation again? So are you currently dating? Yeah, I guess the question there is, are you currently dating S or L out of the story? And I apologize if you've made that clear already. My brain is split into 3 component parts at the moment. Smell. I'll totally trust a dude who's named after a demon. That sounds awesome. Hey, we see each other once again. What's up? What was your job again? Alright. Why is it dangerous? Okay. Children Cathedral? I think I'm a little short on Radix there. Oh, that's useful though. Yeah, how's Wellington treating you nowadays, automation dev? Like in terms of feeling in the city, like do you feel like you're sort of straining at the limits of what the city can offer? Or are you so busy most of the time with dev work that it doesn't bother you? Or does Wellington still like feel quite rich and vibrant? Halfway around the world. That's a story. Must face a powerful foe far to the north. Okay. Thanks for the advice. That's true, as far as it goes. I'm so glad for you that the meetup got moved ahead too. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, would love to hear the story if you're open to telling it, son. Where'd you go? Your shop equipment? Alright, fair enough. Can you make guns and bullets? I can reload all brass since I can cast bullets. Alright. Make you. No, nothing else, thanks. In the meantime, too, automation dev, what can you repost when you were talking about verging on waxing philosophical before? If you can break that down too, be interested to read that. Okay, so I don't think I can get to the south from here. Nope, 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 nope. Those death claws, I was surprised that they feel a little bit fiercer than the one that I fought down in the hub. Oh wow. Is that like text chat or was that voice chat? Because 8 hours text chat, like that's a long time to be typing. And that tells you there's some kind of connection there, because to keep up that kind of momentum, like it's much less fatiguing in general, like mentally and physically, when you're in person, and you can benefit from all of the body language from someone that you're talking to. So wow, 8 hours. Yeah, I can imagine. Excuse me. Oh, okay, there you go. Gotcha. Is it pretty typical to cyber over text because you get that layer of insulation from the person that you're talking to, like that layer of abstraction? More easily and quickly in text. Okay. I suppose there's less of there's less vulnerability. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you'll have to pardon my ignorance there. Alright. Let's go over and see if we can make the same deal. I'm not sure actually whether I want to try and take out all of these death claws right now. Doop 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 doop. I think if I'm doing it, I'm definitely gonna have to shoot for the eyes. I think the laser rifle, I still need a couple of levels and a few more points to... Don't run. Because you'll hurt yourself. Go online too. Okay. That sounds like it would be really exciting. Like crossing boundaries that you don't feel comfortable doing in a physical space or with action with another person. I'd like to buy some weapons. Yay! Take two. Okay. Oh. Well, I'm glad you found each other. So do you think that's part of why you ended up both talking for as long as you did, because you were both kind of looking for the same thing at the same time, that human connection? All right, let's do it. Save the game this time, so I don't have to come all the way back. Yeah, no, I hear you. I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we are kind of on the same page there. Yeah, I think text, the advantage of that too is it gives you a chance to think before you respond. There's not that need for immediacy. I know I tend to find that personally a little bit awkward at times. Whereas if I can compose myself and think for a moment, I'm not only like I feel more comfortable. Like just being able to, even daft as it sounds, just be able to like go and Google things. I feel like my IQ jumps up like 10, 20 points. Where I can go, this is the film where I'm talking about this actress. Like when you referenced Elizabeth Mitchell before, Automation Dev. Like just being able to go, yeah, there's Elizabeth Mitchell. I can talk coherently about her films. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That sounds fantastic. Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, lack of tone actually would be an advantage in this case. Yeah, man, those conversations though, when they happen, the ones that just last forever, they're the best. Deathclaw culling, we're gonna call this. My the partner I'm with now, we were friends for a long time, but she came down to, it's not how I wanted to start this. Yeah, it's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, she came down to Melbourne, and I offered her a place to stay. I was single at the time, she wasn't. So we ended up talking until like 3, 4 in the morning one night, just long conversations about everything. And when they happen, and they happen so rarely, they're just the best. Eyes. Oh, that was not a good critical. Sir, I am walking over there. I will take none of this pouring. I shoot you in the eyes. And miss. Yeah, despite having a laser rifle, I feel like a weapon that I've got more chance to hit with, I think is a better choice here. For those criticals in the eyes. But yeah, I'm not seeing it here. Damage I'm doing is not good. Oh wow, what a gift! Having a Venn diagram of like that common ground, but then having things that make you both that are vastly different. That sounds like it sounds like a really good starting point for a conversation. Huh. So is that just because you were different to like the mental picture that he had? Because I know oftentimes we can build up like a mental picture from talking to people or hearing their voice that's different to what they look like. Sir? It's getting better. It's still not quite the kind of damage you want to be doing. It's less handsome than you are. Oh, you, Automation Dev. Ah. So despite the radical worldviews. Okay. Sorry, I was laughing at Automation Dev's comment, not the point you made, son. Big green mohawk and a barcode tattoo in the forehead. Yeah, okay. I can see how that would be something that you wouldn't necessarily have on your first set of expectations. And yeah, I wasn't laughing at your description there because that sounds awesome. Oh, okay, gotcha. So he's kind of internalized a little bit of that, of sort of the military code, like in terms of like dress sense and that sort of thing. Although ink's pretty common in the armed forces nowadays, isn't it? At least for like post-serving officers. Like I wouldn't know. You'd know better than me because you're talking quite frequently with someone who's ex-military. I was just saying to Automation. Okay. Right? It does. It does. Like this is, or if you want to go post-apocalyptic, like this is the series pilot I want to see for like this group, like the core around which the group kind of circulates. Yeah, I was just telling Automation Dev before that one of our regulars is stationed in Cuba at the moment, still serving as a sergeant there. It's been a while since I've because of the missed week. I'm blanking on a name, but it'll come to me. All right, let's reload. I see. This is how I'd intended this fight to pan out. With the Death Corps. Good lord. The thing's gonna cross pretty much the whole ground from it to me. So your barcode tattoo, I've got to ask, is it an aesthetic thing, or have you actually registered like a barcode for, what is it they're called? UPCs, I think? Have you actually registered a barcode that scans or something? Curious. 18 hit points is not a lot. Oh, that's awesome. There we go, 87 points. That's the kind of thing I wanted to do. And the fact that you didn't think, like it didn't register for you to warn him, I think that reflects really well on, like, you know, where you were both at by that point in time. That you didn't think that it would be an issue and that you were just comfortable in your own skin. It must have been a bit of a vulnerable moment though. It's going back to the theme from before. Look, Deathclaw, if you're going to glitch out and stand there, it's 2 down. No, it's on the turn. Ooh, gone up a level. Killing Deathclaws is lucrative. It's perk time. Perk. No, educator we don't want. Master Trader. An immunity to poison, resulting in a plus 25% to poison resistance. Oh, that could be a possibility. Yeah, it's been wonderful having you here, Automation Dev. And yeah, in your time zone, yeah, it is super late. So yeah, go sleep. Thank you so much for the chats. Thank you for keeping me company. It's been great having you here. Excuse me. Oh, so it literally is. I see. I thought before when you referred to having your social security number on your forehead, I thought that was a... I thought you were making a comparison, like a metaphor. Okay, so it literally is. Well, I'm glad you found a career where you can be you more. That's awesome. Like, that's what you want. Awesome. It'd be great to have you back if you have the time, Automation Dev. I know that you are super busy though, so completely understandable. But yeah, love to have you back if you come back. Yeah, no, it's great, son, to have a career where you can actually be true to yourself. Like, it might be a daft comparison, but I don't have it on at the moment, but like I like having nail polish on. And one of the first things I do tomorrow is it's going to be, because it's been sort of a stretch of super busy time, I'm going to pop it back on. And for a long time I was a tech consultant and couldn't do it because I'd be on client site. And the company I was working for was fairly conservative, but the company I work for nowadays, they don't care, which is nice. It's just nice to be able to express yourself. Cheeky Automation Dev. Oh, the basis for the barcode? Interesting. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Spur of the moment. That's bold. That's bold, sir. Doing a forehead tattoo is a spur of the moment thing. Although, I suppose if you'd thought about it for a while, then it's something that had been on your mind. Alright, let's get this... Special places or peoples. I think we can go for that. We're going to go for Explorer. Because there's not something else here that really grabs me. Except for maybe awareness. But no, I think Explorer. Because we're at a point where we want to find cool stuff. Yeah, go to sleep. Go to sleep, Automation Dev. There you go. Okay, yeah, so you've wanted it for several years. You'd already made the decision in your mind. Okay, that makes sense. Although a lot of people, yeah, I do know a few people who get sort of spur-of-the-moment tattoos. Like, hats off to them for doing it. I couldn't do that. And yeah, so this is a friend of yours. So you knew her work as well. Very interesting. Oh, that's why my numbers were so terrible. Because I've gone and put all my gone and put my numbers in big guns. I don't have any numbers in energy weapons. All right, let's bump that up too. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations on finding a career where you can be yourself. It's the bestest thing. All right, there's our level. Oh, that's awesome. So you're a Warhammer fan? Or 40k fan? Although I suppose that's it's kind of universal symbol, isn't it? Because in Moorcock's fiction, like, what's the root of that as a symbol? Because it's in Moorcock's fiction as well, the Eternal Champion stuff. The 8-pointed star is the symbol for chaos. So there must be like a mythical like antecedent for it. Oh wow. Oh, hang on. Oh, you got it scarred in. I didn't read that correctly. It's a scarification. Jesus, that would have hurt. Yeah. The steel spatula. Congratulations to Automation Dev for reaching the rank of Initiate. I hope you are sleeping proudly. Is it only 2? There must be more Deathclaws in here. Sweet Jesus. Okay, yeah, that's impressive. A steel spatula heated on a gas stove. How does healing work for that? Like, do you need to manage the healing process for scarification in a particular way? Like, I've got to say, that's hats off to you. That's not something I'd ever be willing to do without the circumstances, I guess, being more controlled. I'm a coward that way. Oh, so Moorcock created it. There isn't a mythical predecessor for it. Like, I guess it would make sense then that 40k would pick up on it. I think we might be done here. I think it might just be literally a nest of two Deathclaws. I think the game's being kind to me, because before when I came through here, I swear there was like 3 or 4. Like, you saw it. You saw it, son. You called it. You were like, you're dead. You are not going to make it out of there because I was surrounded by Deathclaws. And they were all taking a swipe. But I think that might be it. Like, it's just giving me 2 this time. It's being kind to me. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Came out of the London alt punk metal scene. That makes a lot of sense with like the some of the art styles in early White Dwarf magazine make a little more sense now, like with the aesthetic for like the dwarves where they got like, you know, nose rings, that kind of thing. They're not sort of like Tolkien, like, you know, we're to build this. Like, they look like they'd be more comfortable throwing up the horns. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because Moorcock, what was it? Did he have a band, or was it just that there were bands that were inspired by Hawkwind that were around? Chaos Punks. I did not know that was even a thing. Like, my only exposure to chaos magic is Grant Morrison, who is an interesting fellow. Very mean punks. Gotcha, yeah, just the bands that were inspired by him. Okay. I had no idea that chaos punks were a thing. So mean in what sense? Like, just as in, like, violent tendencies? They love to fight? I think I've killed all the Deathclaws. Let's give it a few days. Okay. Sure. Punks, anarcho-punks, cross-punks. Wow. I had no idea. Chaos punks. Okay. So quite literally embracing the idea of chaos. The kind of the embodiment of the cliches around chaotic neutral land. Anything could happen at any moment, and it will. Alright, so now I've got to figure out how to get around from here. Okay, so let's turn auto run back on. Interesting. So what's the deal with crust punks? What are they about? Like, I realize this is a thing I could be not lazy about and go Google, but I'm tied to the screen here. I'm looking at picking up a Stream Deck in the next week or so. Looking forward to having it. Making life a little bit easier. Oh, here we go. Anarcho-punks are super political. Super broke. Super broke and consider homelessness a lifestyle. We punks are just drunk all the time. And the chaos punk ethos is to kick shit down and burn it. That's interesting. It sounds like you've almost got like factions of a role-playing game there. I wonder if cross punk, that sounds like something that people would grow out of age-wise. Like I can imagine if you're in sort of late teens, early 20s, that's the kind of thing that you might think is romantic. But I wonder if people grow out of that when they hit sort of like mid 20s, early 30s. Like, oh, actually, you know what's cool? Beds. Crusties are kids. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because what's the one thing you don't have? Like when you're a kid, you don't have your own space. So, roughing it on the streets. Chaos punk culture has changed over time. Death to conceptions. Interesting. Death to conceptions. Can you explain that a little bit more? It sounds almost like a manifesto. An artistic manifesto. Chaoten. Oh, actually, my Chaoten? Wonder how that'd be pronounced. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. Like on paper, Chaoten, however it's pronounced, is sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to think what Chaoten. Yeah, I'm trying to think what it reminds me of, whether it's the Datists, but I know that there was a few artistic manifestos where they kind of, the big thing was shrugging off people being able to understand like what they were doing. Like the last thing they wanted is to be sort of like formalized and have people be able to appreciate and understand their art. And I wonder if there's similarities to that, where it's all about sort of just being as enigmatic as possible. Alright, I want to see if I can go find this church. Bum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum. Where's the church? Hey man. It's the blades. I'd like to go find the regulators too and put some holes in them. Break down people's concepts of society. Oh, okay. Interesting. I wonder if that sort of goes into like socialist territory. Our tradition of excessive violence. Yay! Yeah, Germany does have a bit of a reputation for that. Alright, I'm missing a point where I can go on the map here to another area. It's in front of me and I'm not seeing it. Because we've got the main town. And I can head over to where the death claws were that I removed. Then there's where the gun runners are. But there's a bunch more that I should be seeing here. So I'm missing something. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure there's been people saying it like through all points in history, but it feels like we're kind of on the tipping point of radical change at the moment. Like things are just so divisive and so explosive. It'd be nice to see an alternative to late Oh, wow. Well, my hat's off to you. Like, thank you for paying. Like, you've paid a real price for standing up on principles there. Yes, you did mention earlier. But I don't think I acknowledged it. You mentioned that you've been tied up in the justice system since you were 13. Is that correct? But yeah, absolutely agreed. Like the tribalism and the sense of division. But at the same time, like it's kind of like you can kind of understand where that division comes from, where people are talking. Here we go. This might be where the regulators are. Oh no, it follows the apocalypse. This is what I needed to do, though. I needed to go over in this direction to find new people. Yeah, it's an interesting world to live in at the moment, where, and I'm telling you stuff you already know, so I'm not saying this, I guess, because I don't think you haven't seen it already, but where people are talking about we need to be able to respectfully disagree with each other, and yet on one side of that equation, you've got people who are going, well, actually, we believe we're neo-Nazis. So, I mean, yeah, you've paid the ultimate price. Paid the ultimate price for standing up to that bullshit. His name's Jacob. What am I doing in the boat? I'm just an explorer. Looking for a water purification chip. Okay. I mean, I've got one, but you know. Tell me more about the boneyards. Tell me about the blades. Hide out in the old club. Might be able to get some of them to talk. I'm so sorry. That sounds like it would have been a very confusing and a very full-on time. Yeah, and I'm sorry that the people that you were with didn't take better care of you. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. So was the next step from there the equivalent of juvenile detention, or found with the punks as a result of that? Yeah, well, it sounds like a better choice. These are good things. These are very good things. A home and a family. Ouch. Having had some exposure to the mental health system in Australia, I can kind of imagine how rough that would have been as the next step. If I can ask, if it's not an inappropriate question, how does one escape a mental hospital? It sounds like if it's not too painful a memory, it sounds like there's a really interesting story there. Wow. Your experience of being there? Okay, if that's what you mean by pretty grotesque, I can imagine. At least some part of it. It feels almost trivial, like going back to... Oh, wow. Feels almost trivial going back to talking about the game. But now we have a new follower, Katja. What kind of combat skills do you have? That must have taken a while. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I was going to ask about the breakup, whether that was like a general relationship policy or whether it was a homophobic thing, but you've answered the question there. Okay, well, I apologize while you are talking about something so intimate, son, for changing the topic of conversation. Yeah, behind the times. I apologize for changing the topic of conversation while you're talking about something so intimate, and I really appreciate you being willing to share something that is so personal about your life. But looking at the clock, it is unfortunately time to wrap up the stream. So I will be back on Sunday night from 9 p.m. So we'll be doing another 2-hour stream then, back to the regular schedule of Friday and Sunday nights on my time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to take a moment to save the game now. Thank you so much for coming and spending your time. No, absolute pleasure. Thank you for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. All right, so we are in a datum, sort of. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure and I really appreciate your company. Have a wonderful night too. And yes, as promised, I did say I was going to talk about, very briefly, share what the best thing was that happened in my week. And that was going all the way back to the Sunday at the start of this week. When we were in Newcastle, we were staying in a small cabin out in wine country, which was where my friend was having his wedding. And we woke up one morning and my daughter was able to go out and see kangaroos just hanging out in amongst the vineyards, just at early morning. So frost still out, still bitterly cold. But it was just really nice just seeing her able to go out there and go, it's kangaroos, practically outside our front door. That was amazing. So yeah, that's the best thing that happened to me this week. So again, thank you so much for spending time with me on the stream. On Sunday night, we're going to figure out what it is that we're doing. We've got Katja now. We've got a new companion. So we're going to go adventuring with Katja. We're going to go see if we can find the regulators in this town. It's a little bit confusing in terms of its layout, but we're also probably, I think, going to go find out what's happening with this cult, because it sounds like there's something pretty freaky happening out of the cathedral. And they're either making mutants or they're making ghouls. And either of those things aren't quite right. So, yeah, it's going to be fun times. But we've got the water chip back now. So now it's just all about taking out the mutant camp. See you then.